Alright, so this video is your Chapter 4 Intro to Trig test review video. So let's get started. Number 1, convert the following angle into radians. It says if your answer is written in fraction form, give the fraction in lowest terms. If decimal form, round to 3 decimal places. I would suggest leaving it in fraction form because it's easiest. Alright, so how do we convert from radians to, from degrees to radians? Well, you take your degree measure and multiply it by pi over 180, because then you have degrees in the top and degrees in the bottom, which will cancel themselves out, making this 285 pi over 180. Now you simply reduce your fraction. I did a little work beforehand, so I know that you can take 20 out of both of these, and if you take 285 divided by 20, you get 14 pi. And of course, 180 divided by 20 is 9. So your answer is 14 pi over 9. And that won't reduce any further because this is 7 times 2, this is 3 times 3, so they don't have a common factor. Number 2, convert the following into degrees. So, you know, if you have pi in your answer, all you have to do is replace pi with 180. Alright, so we're going to do 2 times 180 divided by 5. Let's do some reducing. 5 will go to a 1. 5 will go into 180 how many times? So just take 180 divided by 5, and that is 36. So now 2 times 36 is 72 degrees. Don't forget to write the degree mark. Just like here, you can put radians at the end. But especially here, don't forget that degree mark. Okay? Do not forget that degree mark. Alright, let's look at number 3. Find the complement of 2 pi radians over 5. Now remember, to find complements, you take your angle, subtract it from 90. If it's in radians, you take your angle and subtract it from pi over 2. So pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 5. We got to get a common denominator, and that's going to look like 10. So we had to multiply this by 5, so the pi becomes 5 pi. Had to multiply this by 2, so the 2 pi becomes 4 pi. And then 5 pi minus 4 pi is just pi over 10. Alright, pi over 10 radians. And that's your answer. Number 4, find the supplement. Remember, supplement is 180, so you're just going to take pi and subtract this from pi. So we know we're going to have to get the common denominator. In this case, our common denominator is going to be 90. So I'm going to go ahead and say 90 pi divided by 90. All right, because that's pi over 1. We multiplied the bottom by 90. We've got to multiply the top by 90. Oops. So 90 pi over 90 minus 13 pi over 90. And that equals over 90. So 90 minus 13 is 77 pi over 90 radians. Alright, 77 pi over 90 radians. And just leave it like that. You don't have to do anything else with it. Just leave it as 77 pi over 90. Alright, let's keep going. Now, I didn't give you... darn it. Alright, on the unit circle provided on your answer sheet. Okay, I didn't give y'all an answer sheet, but all I wanted you to do was draw on the unit circle what we've already went over. Alright, so let me draw the unit circle. I'm going to scroll down here and do it down here. Okay. This is basically draw what we know. You're not going to let me draw lines? Basically, I just wanted you to write what you already knew about the unit circle. Okay? Just trying to use my line tool to make this look a lot better. And my circle tool. Alright, basically that this is 0 degrees, 90 degrees, and I wanted you to do it in degrees and radians. Okay. and then back to 360. So that's your unit circle in degrees. And I also wanted you to do it in radians. So this would be 0 radians. This would be pi over 2 radians. This would be pi radians. This would be 3 pi over 2 radians. And then we would be back to 2 pi radians. Okay, so easy way to remember: 0, 1/2, 1, 1 and 1/2, 2. Okay, so that's the easy way to remember it. Radians is 0, half, 1, 1 and 1/2, 2. All right, and of course degrees you should already know: 0, 360, 0, 90, 180, 270, back to 360. All right, that's what I want to see tomorrow on your answer sheet. All right. Now let's go back up to number 6, shall we? Where's it at? Find the x and y coordinates of the point on the unit circle corresponding to the angle negative 351 degrees. Now, if you remember, your x and y coordinate is simply your sine. Oops, that's backwards. It is simply the cosine of your angle, comma, the sine of your angle. That'll give you your x and y point. Well, there's our angle. So just take the cosine of negative 351 degrees and take the sine of negative 351 degrees, and that'll give you your xy value. Okay. Now it's important to make sure your calculator is in the right mode. If you are unsure how to put your calculator in the right mode, call me over and I'll make sure you're in the right mode. I mean, obviously, just like normal, I'm not going to tell you if you're doing the problem right or not, but I will let you know if you're in the correct mode so that you can get to the right answer. Okay. Then after that, you just take the sine and cosine of both angles and you're done. All right, so the x value would be 0.988 and the y value would be 0.156 for our angle of negative 351 degrees. All right. Same thing down here. It's the cosine of your angle times the sine of your angle, but now, since we're in radians, you want to make sure your calculator is in radian mode, but you're still going to do the same thing. You're going to take the sine of it, and then you're going to take the cosine of it. All right. And take the sine of it and the cosine of it. So switch to radian mode. And again, like I said, call me over if you're unsure how to switch to radian mode, because I want to make sure you can get these right, and I don't want it to have to mark you off because you didn't properly change your calculator's mode. So the cosine of negative 10 pi over 9. Why is this thing acting weird? Alright, I'm obviously just going to have to tell you. The cosine of negative 10 pi over 9 is negative 0.940. It comes out to negative 0.9396, so that means it would round to 40. Alright, so for number 7, the x value, or the cosine value, would be negative 0.940, rounded to 4 decimal places. And the sine would be 0.342. 0.342. Okay. So the cosine is, if this is going to let me write, probably not. The cosine was negative 0.940, and the sine was 0.342. Alright, don't know why this pad's acting weird, but that's your answers. Now it says find the sine, cosine, and tangent value, if possible, for the following angle. What it means by if possible is when you're taking the tangent is sine divided by cosine. So since it's sine over cosine, If your cosine value comes out to be 0, you will not have a tangent because you're dividing by, you can't divide by a negative. All right, so you do the same process. Since our angle is in degrees, make sure you're in degree mode. All right, and then just do the sine of the angle, which is negative 299. So the sine value of negative 299, I forgot my negative sign, equals 0.875. The cosine of negative 299 is 0.485. And then the tangent of negative 299. All right. Now there's two ways you can do the tangent. The easiest one, since we know the angle, is to just do the tangent of negative 299, and that's 1.804. All right, that's the easiest way to do it. If you didn't know the angle and all you had was these, you could do the point, the 0.875 divided by the cosine value, which was 0.485, and that'll get you close enough. Whoops, that shouldn't have been 1 point, that should have been 0.1. I copied it down wrong. No, I was right. All right, so you can do it that way or just do it this way. Okay. This way, since we know the angle, this way is the easiest to do it. So I would just do it this way. But if you want to try it, you can see that you will get the same answer either way. Okay. You'll get the same answer either way. But the easiest way to do it when you have the angle is just take the tangent of that angle. All right. Now, number 9 is just like number 10, except with just like number 8, except with a different angle. So the sine of 5 pi over 9 equals the cosine of 5 pi over 9 equals, and the tangent of 5 pi over 9. Again, make sure you're in the right mode. Make sure you're in Radian mode. Oh, and by the way, if you do ask me to come over and help you put it in Radian mode, I'm not going to tell you if you need Radian mode or not. I'm just going to show you how to put it in your different modes. I'm not going to verify that you're putting it in the correct mode for the problem. I'm just going to show you how to do it. All right, because I want you to know how to do this stuff. Okay, so I will not tell you if you're doing it right. I will simply answer your question on here is how you change the mode. All right, so the cosine is negative 0.174, and then the tangent of 5 pi over 9 is negative 5.671. All right, that's the tangent, negative 5.671. All right, so again, make sure you're in the right mode, and so on and so forth. Okay. Number 10, find the cotangent, cosecant, and secant if possible. Again, the if possible, because remember, if tangent is sine divided by cosine, cotangent is cosine divided by sine. So if your sine is 0, you can't find a cotangent. All right. So again, remember, I'm going to start with cosecant. Remember, cosecant equals 1 over sine. So what you can do in your calculator is find the sine value, then hit the reciprocal button, which is below the sine button. All right, and it'll give you the same answer. In fact, I'll do it both ways. Take the sine of 61 pi over 180. All right, and then hit the reciprocal button and hit enter. So the cosecant of 61 pi over 180 equals 1.143. And you can do the same thing. You could hit the fraction button, do 1 over the sine, another fraction, 61 pi over 180. That'll give you the same exact answer. All right, so you can either do 1 over the sine of the angle, or you can just do the sine of the angle and then hit the x to the -1 button, which is below the sine, and then what it'll do is it'll come up and say answer -1, hit enter, and it'll give you the value. All right, same way with the secant and CC of 61 pi over 180. Do the same thing, take the cosine of 61 pi, whoops, 61 pi over 180, and then hit the inverse button, and that'll give you 2.063, and not the inverse button, the reciprocal button. So the reciprocal trig. And then the cotangent of 61 pi over 180 equals, do the same thing, take the tangent, 61 pi over 180, hit the reciprocal key, 0.554. All right, so that's been your test review. Make sure you understand how to do this, because when you come to class tomorrow, we will have our test. All right, so good luck tomorrow, and make sure you study.